all the courses that a student is enrolled into. In this case, I've used mine account. So I'm just enrolled in 2 courses because I like to check what they're doing, sort of a sneaky kind of situation. But this is the actual main page. And the student would only need to, for example, that we go inside here, and that's how the course would look like. So you will have always the first page where there's the assessment for the course with the specific contact hours for the lecturers. So students can go there and contact the professor and ask questions should they have any in that specific case. Then they have some surveys that we want them to feel part of the community, and we want to have their input. So let's say, for example, they found it too difficult, too easy, the materials were too far off. So we want to hear about them, okay? And then they have what we call the Holy Bible, or what do they need in order to get the good grade, to pass the module. So in this case, the assignment brief, it will look at when it is supposed to be sent, who is the professor that actually teaches this, what they need to have achieved, and how they have to do this. So they have this prior to the start of the course. So at any given time, they have a clearer idea of what is asked of them, what is required of them, and how they can achieve this. They also have the course discussion board. So they are encouraged to ask questions, to interact with their peers, and so forth. For every week, then, as you can see, there's a link to the actual class that they are supposed to be taking. Okay, so simply they push to start the meeting. We will see then how it looks, but start the meeting and they are in there. Now, once this is done, the professor also add the slides and the questions and anything else that is as a material be relevant to them. And students can use it at any given time. Now, in here, we have what we call media gallery, and the media gallery has the recordings of all the lessons for that module that has already been done. Okay, so basically students, as you can see, it's a 2-hour long stuff. They can go back here and they can reread through, rethink, listen to the teachers at any given time. They can also, using this plus add media, they can also record their own stuff. So let's say, for example, for an assessment, they are required to record the presentation. They don't need additional software. They can just go there. They add plus add media, and then they could in this case, I haven't recorded anything, so it's difficult now, but they can actually add that to the staff and send it to the professor for the grades. Now in here, that's the easiest way to start a meeting. I'll show you how our virtual classroom looks like. Let me see if I need to switch from one sharing stuff to the other. I don't think you're seeing it now, right?
No, I can see it. Launch room. You have to click on launch room.
Yes, I already did. So possibly what you're not seeing is the other screen, but that's okay. There you go. Okay, can you see it now?
Launch room, yes.
Yes.
Room,
okay.
yeah.
Hello?
Okay, so let me see if, can you see now the launch the room?
Yes.
Not. No.
So Celine, you can see it. Richard,
No,
you
I can see the launch desktop app. Is that right?
Okay, no, so wait a second. That's the technology when it comes with Zoom and sharing just one stuff. Okay, give me a sec. And we can find it there. Stop sharing, and I'll share again the other screen. So
You prefer to work with Teams, huh?
there you go. Yeah, so that's always. So can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it now.
Fantastic. Okay, so in this sense, this is what the actual classroom would look like. Here you would have either the professor phrase or the slides that have been shared, or a video from TEDx, YouTube, any other kind of teaching material. Down there, there will be all the faces of all the students. Of course, as many as there are, then you can scroll down. Then you have the chat room and all the other tools that you can think of. You could potentially have the, here, you can put beforehand courses or videos that you have prepared, you as the professor or the students, or you can just get them from somewhere else. Here are the notes that you can share with in between groups, and or between the professor and the actual teachers. Now you have YouTube embedded inside, a classic whiteboard, so it's digital. Imagine you are exactly like in a classroom with a whiteboard. You can students can decide to share the desktop, or the professor can do it. Really depends. You can give them quizzes on the fly. So we've just discussed, for example, about the latest innovation model, and we want to see how the students have, if they have understood the concept, and then you give them a quiz very easily. Here is where you have all the videos prepared for them to see, and here is where, of course, you record the lesson. Now, we also have the function of breakout rooms. This is very important, and I would like to spend a couple of minutes in this. So imagine, for example, that a class has 100 students from everywhere in the world, right? Usually you will have the professor, you know better than me because you are teachers, you have the professor that talks about a specific topic, but then it's not really engaging, is it? Because it's just the professor talking a lot. Now, with this system, what the professor does is usually is a 10-15 minutes theory part. Then the students are brought into separate breakout rooms. This can be, the rooms are divided either automatically, so the software decides who goes where, or the professor has a specific thing in mind and say, okay, these two might be from the same part of the world. We don't want them to be at the same time in the same place. So I prefer to have Richard from Switzerland together with Salim from Thai, and that will actually provide them with a better idea of what happens in the world, because they discuss and share culture and share different perspectives. The professor can hop from one breakout room to the other, so they will always have the clearest idea of what's going into someone else's group, okay? And they can correct or help or support or suggest throughout the exercise. And then everyone gets back into the main room, and everything that they have done, let's say, for example, they did a design thinking exercise where they had to put digital post-its in a wall, in a whiteboard, that stays there for them to go back to. And because everything is recorded, then everything is still inside the actual recording for them to see. And this is very much how we try to do stuff in this way. As you can see, we can also add a quick poll. So let's say, for example, what do you think about this topic? Is it good that Elon Musk has bought Twitter? Yes, no, I don't want to say, or maybe something much more complicated in the questions. But all the major functions are there. And the important thing is they are there at the click of a button. And it's a seamless experience, because the students get into the actual digital platform and then go straight there without having to do much of a treasure hunt, as we call them. Students who don't like to go up and down in other stuff. Together, if we go back to the digital platform, then you will also see that we have digital libraries inserted in there, so the students can go and get research papers to read, or they can get other research materials that they might need. We always provide the books as a digital free resource. That means that they don't have to pay for anything that is additional unless they really want to. Let's say, for example, if they told me, I would probably buy an additional 10 books because that's the way I am, but it's not compulsory or it's not required for the course. This is how I would say the academic side works. But then we also have what comes prior to that. So the admissions process, and the admissions process is, again, an easy system. I'm assuming you will try to enroll the students in our platform, so in our student information system, rather than this. Go for it, Richard.
I have a question, Sarah. Before that, we go to the second part. It's possible to show one recorded, just 1 minute, one recorded course between teacher and students.
Absolutely, yes. Let me go back to that, and I will show it to you in a sec.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
You're most welcome. I'm doing this to avoid having you looking through all the all the stuff, all the boring bits and pieces. Okay, so
Sarah and myself, we're doing at least 3 or 5 training a day. So sometimes
yes,
how it works.
Okay.
So how many centers around the world you have at the moment?
At the moment, we have as one in Italy, one in Switzerland, one in Czech Republic, one in Slovak Republic, one in Tunisia, one in Rwanda, 2 in Pakistan. Then we have one in India. We have one in Thailand, logically.
Yes, one in China.
In China, yes, we have one in China, 12. Then I'm sure that I'm missing one in Sri Lanka, 13. And then we have coming up shortly, one in Azerbaijan and one in Spain. So we are around 15 at the moment, 15. Okay. And about another 10 in pipeline that I have to finish this week.
Okay. So the students, they have already studied, or they're gonna start in September?
Yes, they already started in
They are already starting. Now I'll show you how that works. I'll go to the nice bits and pieces if they let me. Okay. I don't know. Okay, now that's one. I took one of the students' assignments. I was like, why is that 7 minutes long? Okay, so this is how a class would look like. Okay, so
allocative efficiency is the match between outputs and the preferences of the public.
So
preferences.
I'll try and go just to show you if
so I've done my job.
Yeah.
I reached my objectives.
Okay, so basically you will have all the students with the in this case, there was a PowerPoint there with a brainstorming session that they've been divided into separate rooms. You could see who they are, and then you receive it, you have it here. You can download it, and you can also, as you can see the captions and everything else if you want to, otherwise you don't need it. But the main bits and pieces is that in this case, and I'm going to see, it's a 2 hours long lectures that is being recorded.
Economic and monetary policies that are
There's
fundamental
everything
for many states in the world.
Even the theoretical point of view, to actually get everything right and get back to what you need to learn. And in this specific case, the professor is from one of the top US state universities, as well as an Italian one. So we try to get the best that there are out there in terms of research, but also academics. It looks like it. So some of the students might at a certain point decide not to show their face. We encourage them to, because it's important, especially in breakout rooms, to make a connection with the other people. But of course, we are not going to force anyone if they don't feel like it, or if they are in a dorm, the chaos. You can imagine there's a whole bunch of different people. We also have people that are not exactly traditional students. So you might have more mature students and they have a family in the background, how it is, especially during COVID, we'd all been there. So this is what it looks like, and it's there. As you can see, there's plenty of video in here to go back to.
Another one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say, for example, this one is 2 hours and 47 minutes. Okay, so as you can see more faces, okay, and you still have, as you can see, you have the actual captions down there that are moving, yeah. And you have
That are not mandatory, so just if
you have
curious
all
about
the actual stuff that the professor is talking about.
Specific topic.
And I'm not sure at a certain point there are polls and everything, but I don't know the exact moment where they pop up. I will need to go through back 3 hours of videos each. So you'll excuse me if I cannot find exactly where the stuff is, but this is ideally the experience. And students can talk, can raise their hands, can provide additional softwares, can provide anything that they want to, and they can share it with the class and the professor without even having to ask, in a certain sense. So there is nothing that is, they are in the middle of a discussion. Can we please, can I please show this because I found this the other day and I find it interesting for the class to share. This is part of how we structure all the hours that are available. Some of them are called preparation classes, and we use the Harvard system. So preparation classes are used to serve a higher purpose, and the higher purpose is for them to read through the reading list of the week and to share ideas and to discuss new research papers that they have found independently, new books that they have thought, or new news that they think they are interlinked. And it's a student-led kind of situation where the students will actually can say everything in the respect of each other and in the respect of what is, possible to say, but they will sort of have an experience where they can be professors, a bit like a flipped classroom exercise for those of us that are in the sector. But this is ideally that what, Richard, you wanted to show.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is always good to show 1 or 2 recorded presentation. What I did, Saline and Leng, I'm recording this, so you can always go back and have a look if you want to show this as well to some of the students. This can be very, very good for you as well to show how everything is done. One additional point, Sarah, maybe you can explain how the modules are running. You know, the modules running 6 weeks terms. And as well in refer of the timing. So this is a 2 very important point as well to add on.
So in order to make it work a little bit far away from the traditional UK system, we have 4 entry points, so 4 intakes that you can have: September, November, December, and March. These are possible because rather than having the single semester, we are having the semester that is split in 2. So 2 blocks of 6 weeks each. So let's say, for example, you want to start, you, Salim, want to start in September, okay? And fair enough, you start with the first 1 or 2 modules. There are never more than 2 modules at the same time in the 6 weeks. This is important because you can imagine how difficult it is for a student to have 4 or 5 modules running at the same time for 12 weeks, where in 2 weeks, they have to concentrate for the coursework or the final exams for all 4 of these, 4 or 5 of these modules. That becomes very, very difficult because all the coursework is demanding on its own. But concentrating on 4 or 5 courses, whether you have to revise, you have to do the homework, you have to be in lessons, is very time consuming. And the majority of the time you are required to put an awful amount of independent study on top of it. We had a different approach. So we want to have as much time they can with the professors, so they have a clear idea of the basics of everything, and then they can go on and do the coursework by themselves. So we have a maximum of 2 modules in 6 weeks time. Usually the coursework is ending around week 3 and week 6. And because when they start, they already know what they are supposed to be doing and at what time they're supposed to be doing, in which day they are supposed to be sending out, they should have a better time management control in this sense. Now, this allows us to, after the 6 weeks, to add additional people. So if Saline has started in September, for example, okay, and Richard couldn't start in September because he was out on a holiday and decided to start in November, okay, I'm just trying to give you a nice story, Richard, okay. So in that case, Richard could start in November with Saline doing just the additional 2 modules after, and then Richard will finish the course of the first year course in the September next year, together with new people starting in September. So students are always having different people in the same class. So more opportunities to gather, connections, to learn stuff from different people. And they have also the flexibility to start at any given time in the year, rather than having to wait for the September start. And if they're lucky, maybe the January one. Now, in terms of timing, what we do is we try to concentrate, because we are aware of the time zones. So what we have is a timetable of around 25 to 30 hours per week. In this timetable, there's a lot of stuff that is not compulsory. So let's say, for example, we have contact hours. Unless you have any questions to ask the professor because you A, didn't understand something, B, you are unsure of what you need to be doing, or C, you have something very specific that is not being covered in class, you won't need to do the contact hours. So we try to put them at a time that is nicely available to everyone, but not necessarily in the way. So let's say, for example, if for me in the UK is 9 o'clock in the morning, for Richard is 10 o'clock, somewhere else it might be 3 p.m. And we want to make sure that everyone has the core important bits and pieces in a time that is feasible for everyone. So we will devise the actual timetable in a way where the core lessons will be for everyone in a normal time, whether it's morning for me or afternoon for somewhere else 5 hours ahead of me, okay? And then we will add what we call preparation classes. It's for them to go, and they are compulsory only for courses where the part of the component is class participation. So in that case, they will need to go because they need to show up, they need to engage. Otherwise, they can say, okay, this is not important. It's not necessary for me to go. If it's at 6 o'clock in the morning, they can skip it. It's not an issue. But then it will still be recorded and they can watch it, and then they can use it to inform of what they are doing at a later stage. The main bits are lectures and seminars for sure, and project work only if the professor says we have a simulation or a case study to do on that specific day at that specific time. Otherwise, they can sort of decide among themselves with the peers that they need to do the assignment with when they want to meet, and if they want to use the digital classroom, if they want to use our Teams, if they want to use any other form of communication. Because when they enroll, they will receive a Chichester account, but also an XCL account. We provide them with a full Microsoft Office package. So they will have the Microsoft Word, Excel, Teams, a PowerPoint, anything they might need to in order to do the assignments and to successfully deal with the actual the student life. Then they can use also Teams. They can have a video call with their friends. They can, chat, send messages, share documentation. They don't need to go through the platform if they don't want to. And we don't want to, yes, Richard, go for it.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I know that you can speak for hours.
Yeah, sorry.
I know you, but I think it's clear now, the thing. I think maybe Saline or Leng, you have any question you want to ask Sarah?
Oh, so the students, they don't have to start in September, right? So how many intakes per year?
4, September, November, January, and March.
Okay. Can you give me the date, please?
The dates, what we are going to do is I will provide Richard with the calendars. I'm sure that he might have it, and I will send it over to you. Let me see if I can share it in the chat right now. So that might even be better. Yes.
And I also would like to know how many subjects or how many faculties that we can offer to the student at the moment, so I can start promoting.
Yeah, oh, that's a very good question. So we have, in terms of faculty, 2 faculties, psychology and business, but business is very varied. So we have, for example, a bachelor and a master in applied computer science. Okay. And then we have the traditional bachelor in global management in international business, so much more business related. And then we move on to stuff like, for example, an MSc in green economy and sustainability and climate change, an MSc in big data and digital skills for managers, a digital MBA, an MSc in global management and innovation. I'm going on top of my head. I'm not looking at what Richard is doing. So bear with me. Then we have a very unique one, which brings together traditional education and entrepreneurship, and it's the digital learning master. So as you can see, there is a common theme, so 2 faculties, but very varied stuff. We're also working on gaming and animation, fashion and design, and hospitality as we speak. So we will add to the portfolio as soon as possible in this sense.
If you go on the website, Saline Oleng, you just click on course, and then you will find here all the program. You know, very simple. Just go on the website XCL, you go on course. For example, business and management, you can open, and then you scroll down a little bit, and you will find the brochure here directly. So you can just take the brochure from the website. You just click here in the middle, and here it shows the brochure directly. So there is everything is very, let's say, well done in terms of technology. If you're looking for the entry requirement, just click entry requirement here, and you will find the entry requirement directly here. If you're looking for the teaching and assessment, you will find the information directly here. If you're looking for the course content, you will click here, you will find the course content. So on every single course, I just go back one more time. If you go on the course pages, courses, you click on course, and then if you want to go to a master, the same. Let's say you want to look at the MSc Global Management Innovation, you open here, you scroll down, and here you will find the brochure directly. And it's always written the duration of the master, which is 1 year. So the master is a 1-year program. And here as well, the course content is inside here. The entry requirement is inside here. Everything, all the details are always written inside. On the right side, on top, you can always go on the schools. Just click here on the right side, you go on schools, and you will find the schools of business management, school of psychology. Let's click it here, which is the major of everything. You just scroll down and you will find everything here. You even have the student handbook. The student handbook includes all the details. It's more than 30 pages. You will find all the details from A to Z. Whatever request you have, the entry requirement in details for undergraduate program, the entry requirements for anything, whatever you want. I just click this one. You will find this on XCL, but I will put this on the chat system. If you go on the chat system, as you can see, there is a chat below. You will find it.
On the dates. Just apologies, but the first one, when I said masters, in reality was the bachelor. So you have the masters 12th of September 2022, yes, 31st of October, then 16th of January and 6th of March. And for the bachelors, it would be 12th of November, 12th of September, 21st of October, 23rd of January, and 20th of March.
So if the student, they register for master and bachelor degree, can I provide them to study at the same room or not? Or they have to be in different class?
I would suggest that they are in different classes, because it might not even be the case. It really depends on the timetable. Let's say, for example, if the bachelor ones have the major concentration in the morning, let's say, and the master ones in the afternoon, that's not an issue. But if you have them at the same time for a long period of time, then you might want to just separate them, because then it becomes difficult for the students to understand who's talking to who and what. And it gives them a sense, I think, of community if they can stick together at the same time, because they're still part of the same class in any case.
Virtual and bachelor are separated, then together. Master and bachelor are separate. There is one class for master and one class for bachelor.
So I provide 2 classes at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
No,
Why not?
No. It's not that you provide. When the students will register,
I mean the classroom.
Yeah, you have 2 classrooms, which is fine. This is great. So you can have one classroom with students doing the bachelor and one class with students doing the master. This is absolutely fine. But you know, you will get so many requests, Aline and Lang, that maybe it's good to start with 2 classrooms. You have enough space. And by the way, it's beautiful, the campus in Thailand. Did you see the photo, Sarah?
I did. It's amazing. I wanted to go there myself. If I could, I would. Yeah, that would be lovely. Yes, Richard usually wants me to. He's trying to convince me to travel. But if I do, that would be one of my firsts.
Thank you.
So good.
I have some questions that for the entry requirements. Students need to get like IELTS for the foundation, need like 6.0 for the IELTS or not?
Sorry, but I have a bad.
So it's about the entry requirement. The entry requirement is indicated here on the students. So there is a 6.0 in IELTS or 5.5 in each component. Okay.
Should I stress out that you don't need to have an IELTS? It needs to be an equivalent to IELTS, not necessarily IELTS. Okay. So it's not just if you have something different from an IELTS, we are not going to look at it. Okay.
How about Duolingo English test?
No. Duolingo cannot be accepted because it's not proctored. So unfortunately, UK universities, the proper ones, do not accept Duolingo. So you have TOEFL, you have Pearson, you have Cambridge, you have Trinity, you have a good stuff related to that. Now, what we do is when you actually send across the qualification for the student, okay, our team, the admissions team, will look at it and then we'll arrange an interview with the student. So let's say, for example, you have a student that wants to apply for the bachelor, okay? And they have a 5.5 IELTS or an equivalent to a 5.5 IELTS. Technically, we couldn't accept him, okay? Because it's not a 6.0. But what we do is we do the interview. If we feel like, you know, the student still can understand, has a good chance of picking it up with you, we are going to say yes. This is because we understand that some people might not be exactly ready when it comes to the fact that, you know, you have a test. This might not go as well as you planned. You might have had a bad day. You might not like the test format to shine. So we understand this. So that's the reason behind having a very informal interview, when the interview does not have anything to do with academics. Okay. So if you are unsure, just send it across or send it to me first, and then I'll tell you, yes, I think that can be done. We'll send it over. Or no, there's no possibilities. In any case, should the English be lower than what expected, we can still enroll them into the foundation, the integrated foundation year. So the integrated foundation year works like this. They have 7 courses that they need to pass. 2 of these are English. Okay, English related, and it's important for them to get a mastery of the language, but also at the academic level to understand whether or not they can get along with the essay kind of style or the academic writing that we use and the referencing and whatever. So these, they will need to apply only once at the very beginning of the foundation year. And then should they pass all the stuff, they are automatically entering the bachelor. This is because it's integrated. So they don't have then to come back and say, oh, can I apply for the bachelor? No, they are already in that specific bachelor,
Okay.
and that's important.
Let's say excuse me, it's similar to the pre-sessional of English.
No, and that's what I was going after. So the foundation year provides students that do not have a good grasp of the language and do not have the grades to just get or enough experience, academically speaking, to get into the bachelor straight away. Then we also have what you called, rightly so, pre-sessional English. So let's say, for example, a master's student want to study, they have to have a minimum of a 6.5. We can do with a 6.0 IELTS equivalent, but that would be ideally, what would be ideal would be a 6.5. Okay. Now, in that case, what we can say is the grades are there, the opportunities for the student is there, but they need to understand English a little bit better in order to engage and properly progress throughout the program. So we offer them a pre-sessional English course that could vary depending on how is assessed. So let's say, for example, if he achieves a 5.5, it might be a 3 months kind of program. So rather than starting in September, for example, they could start in January, something like that. Or if it's a longer stuff, we would say 6 months. It really depends on the prospective student, but then they can move on to the academic side. As you can see now, the difference between the foundation year and the pre-sessional English course is that you will find that the foundation year also have a deficiency when it comes to academics. So not enough grades to get in. The pre-sessional English is the only issue towards the minimum that we require. I think that sums up the difference behind the two. If it makes sense.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much for this